when you play in areas like this and you show up the way you do, the crowd loves it, the team loves it. It's special.
This is the Buffalo Plus Podcast, brought to you by Connors and Ferris.
All right, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus channel, presented by Connors and Ferris. Mike Catalana, I am Jenna Cottrell. Dan Fates with a veteran new Papa day off. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We always appreciate it. All right, we are getting into this. Bills win over the Niners, 35-10. What it means for them in the division, their 5th straight. Also, the play, we got to talk about the Amari Cooper to Josh Allen.
Of course.
Sean McDermott doing snow angels after the game. A lot to break down in this one. James Cook with a nice afternoon as well, or evening, I should say. But let's start with the division.
Yeah.
For the 5th straight year, Buffalo wrapping it up.
You know, it's easy to sort of take it for granted because they've done it 5 years in a row. But last year, it took them to the very last drive on the very last game of the year down in Miami. And it's funny, this was the year when all the experts were saying, the Jets, you know, they've got Aaron Rodgers and the Dolphins are ready to. I mean, please. They haven't even played the Patriots yet. And they've already won the division.
It's week 13. It's December 1st.
Crazy.
And the Bills have won another title.
And look, it's the step. It always is. It's not the end game. The goal is always to win the division. But this is just a slap back at everybody who doubted them. We all thought they'd win the division.
Yeah.
I really didn't think they'd win it this easily. But it has been a total domination.
It's unbelievable when you think about going into this season. And we had very real concerns about what this roster would look like, what the level of performance would be on the field. You know, would the AFC East be too competitive and it would just beat each other up? And, you know, maybe the Jets would sneak with it, or maybe the Dolphins would finally break through. But I think tonight, with the weather, with the way this Bills team played, they are a dangerous team that can put it all together. And it was just another example. And, you know, I was on the field and got the players walking off the field. They're like, it's a T-shirt and hat kind of night.
Yeah.
And those don't happen often in the NFL, and the Bills deserve to celebrate it.
Yeah, I think this team's getting more T-shirts. I think they're getting more hats. I don't want to sound like this is – I think this team is going to the Super Bowl.
I agree.
We're not jinxing anybody. Look, last year there was hope there, and, you know, they had to do it late.
Yeah.
The year before, they had all the issues, and obviously with DeMar and all those things, and you thought maybe. I think this is the best team they've had of the McDermott-Allen era all around.
Yeah.
And they are dominating teams. They scored 30 again, Jenna. They scored 30 against the Chiefs, 35 against the Niners. They could have scored more in this one. They sort of took their foot. I mean, they took Josh out of the game early in the fourth quarter. Yeah, it's an impressive all-around team, and they have a tremendous vibe in that locker room.
They really do, and I think that's what makes this team so different, is in other years, you know, there was Stephon Diggs and star players like that, and now this year it just seems like such a selfless group, and Josh Allen, we got to talk about him. Multiple times tonight, players, the fans chanting MVP, and that touchdown, Amari Cooper, the intuitiveness between them.
It was incredible. I mean,
it was ridiculous.
We started laughing. I tell you, there's no cheering in the press box. There is laughing. Everybody started laughing because it was so absurd. And then, well, you know, you saw the play, right?
Yeah.
Here are Josh and Amari talking about what happened when they ended up with the score.
I wish he got credited for something there, an assist or a passing touchdown. But, again, I kind of threw a bad ball, so I was just kind of chasing it.
I was wondering what he was doing over there. Like, that doesn't usually happen, like, when you throw, like, a dart route like that. I just saw him. I figured he was over there because he wanted the ball, so I gave it to him.
Yeah. I threw it. It was just kind of sticky hand, and I just kind of chased the ball just to be there. And we made eye contact, and
that's what it was, yeah.
He just pitched it, and I had to go make a play.
I love Cooper saying, I was wondering what you were doing there. Because Josh realized it wasn't a great throw. So he gets credit. Now, hear this out. Josh gets credit for a touchdown pass. He does not get credit for a reception, but he gets credit for a receiving touchdown. So he gets the touchdown pass and the receiving touchdown. So he had one in the regular season before on a catch. He had one in the playoff game against Houston. So technically now he has 2 career catches, but 3 receiving touchdowns. Only Josh Allen, right, could do that?
It's ridiculous.
It is. That's what it is. It is ridiculous.
He was saying after the game he started himself in fantasy, which is just incredible. Like, of course you did.
Sean McDermott said, I kind of closed my eyes, but then you just start laughing. And you said about MVP. Look, Saquon Barkley went out and had a great game, over 100 yards. He's been incredible. Josh Allen wasn't putting up tremendous stats. I mean, it was hard to throw the ball in this. But talk about him. It's the moment that everybody's going to be talking about Monday, Tuesday, whatever.
Well, we've said it's the MVP moments. He had the 4th and 2 touchdown, and then something like this that just sticks with people. And this is another one that people are going to remember. It's funny, being on the field, you know, they were in the red zone, and you saw the pass to Amari, and I almost bailed on the play because I was like, you know, they got a game, but whatever. And then I'm like, why is Josh Allen trucking towards the pylon? I'm like, are you kidding me? And then I was like, I need to see this again. The NFL obviously tweeted it out, but it was just, I keep saying ridiculous, but I was just,
what?
This team is
pressure
special
on him to score a touchdown. Because you can't do all that and not get in the end zone.
Yeah, that is
fair. And he got in the end zone. No, it was incredible. And you talk about moments, like you said, he had the one before. He has the one in this game. Also, you know, there's also narratives. We've talked a lot about the MVP thing. But this was a team that many people doubted. He lost his number 1 wide receiver. A lot of questions. Hey, we had questions about the wide receiver group, like you said. And they come out and they follow his lead. And by the way, his hand, you guys saw him shaking his hands? He said he got hit in the funny bone on the elbow.
I thought your funny bone was like your elbow. Because he was talking about your...
You feel it. You could feel it all the way through is what he said. So at least that's what he said. He could have been lying to us.
Yeah, I was genuinely concerned because he looked like he was in a lot of pain. I was like, I don't love that. But obviously, seems to be something that Allen is downplaying. Why don't you say that Jim Kelly? This is pretty crazy.
So Jim Kelly had 245 career touchdowns. That's receiving, passing and
I was
running.
just agreeing with you. I was like, obviously.
Josh got the first touchdown on the pass, I believe, was to Mac Hollins. And that tied him, or took the lead. He took the lead with 246. And then, of course, he proceeds to go past it by getting 2 on 1 play. Which is, like, if Jim Kelly's sitting home going, how do I compete with a guy who gets 2 touchdowns on 1 play and then gets another one? The thing that cracked me up is Josh, it's rushing touchdowns, well, I guess in receiving too, but it's rushing touchdowns and passing. Jim, God bless him, Hall of Fame, gold jacket, but Josh has now 59 rushing touchdowns. Only Thurman's had more. Jim Kelly had 7. And I look, because I remember, I'm like, I don't remember Jim with many rushing touchdowns. Very different player, very different time. But, you know, Josh says it's just a stat, but it's a stat that says a lot about what this guy does for the team.
1,000%. Another note, Bills 8-0 now after the bye. We're 7-0 going into this one yet again, showing Sean McDermott how he gets the team prepared coming out of a break when sometimes for a lot of teams it's easy to kind of take your foot off of the gas. And also just another 30-point game. They've been able to do it so consistently this season and in different ways.
So they have 10 wins. 9 of them they've scored over 30, which is something. It's 7 straight games now that I think they've scored. What did I write? 7 straight games over 30. I got all these notes I put in here. At home, now they've won 23 of their last 25. Since 2020, they are 32-6 at home, putting up just silly numbers. It's regular season. Yes, I know. They got to do it in the playoffs, but that's the case. And they're scoring 30. Like, they could have had 40 easily. They had 1 taken off the board on the return for the touchdown. And I thought Christian Benford was going to take that return back for a touchdown. But you know what? The beginning of the game, first of all, I want to talk about the elements. and the snow. Now, we joke about Mike's in the press box, Jen and Dan. I am genuinely concerned about you guys down
Yes,
the field.
you are,
It's not
yeah.
easy. You're running around. So I'm texting Jenna. She's busy. I'm like, how's it going down there? I walk in after the game, and what did you say?
It was awesome. It was so much fun
Yeah.
because there are times where the weather is really challenging, whether it be rain or snow or very cold, windy, whatever. Orchard Park, you really do get everything. Tonight was one of those nights where it was snowing, yes, but it wasn't bad. It was windy a little bit, but it wasn't bad. It was cold, but it wasn't bad. And then just the vibe of the crowd, how into it everyone was. Sunday night football, prime time, the Bills with the AFC East on the line. The Bills came out swinging. Like, it was just one of the most fun games that I've got to cover. And I've had really great home games. The Chiefs win was another really fun game. The Jacksonville blowout win was another amazing game. But weather games like this, they just feel different because it is a special thing for a lot of Northeast or, cold weather teams. When you play in areas like this and you show up the way you do, the crowd loves it, the team loves it. It's special.
And you know who else loves it is Sean McDermott. And I asked him about, the narrative is, the Bills, it's a home field advantage and all that. And I asked him about players buying in to being here. This is what you play in. Maybe not every game, but a lot of games. And the fans, I looked around and, it was tough to get the snow out of the seats and all. These people are sitting on some piles of snow. They're dealing with it and all. And I asked Sean about that whole vibe of Buffalo football and getting his team and everybody to embrace it. And I think you'll like what he had to say.
Being at the combine and someone saying, hey, that it's going to be hard to get players to go to Buffalo. And I didn't say anything, but in my mind I was saying to myself, well, we'll see. When people get a chance to be in this environment and play in front of these fans, I think it makes a huge difference, right? This is a place where people love their professional sports teams. They love sports overall. And it's a true connection to me that I've experienced in 8 years of the team and the fans are one.
I loved that response
Yeah.
because it's true.
And it's heartfelt, and he looks around, and we got to talk about the snow angels. So Jenna tweeted it. So, there's certain things we're not allowed to post in a certain way. Well, you posted it. I'm talking about here on the YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. Tell me what you thought when you're out there on the field and you see Hay and Josh doing snow angels.
Okay, so a couple things. I took a break because I was a little cold, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to cut the second half highlights. And then I realized there's under a minute left to play in this game. Obviously, they're going to do the kneel downs, whatever. I was like, I got to book it out there. So I get out there, and I'm like, okay, Josh is in his post-game interview. Sean is, talking with some other players and other team. So I'm like, okay, I'm good. And then Josh starts walking up, and, I'm getting him doing the hand wave, walking off the field. And I'm like, oh, he's going right to McDermott. I didn't realize it was Scott Van Pelt in ESPN, but I'm just following him. And then I hear them say, oh, you want to do snow angels? I'll do it. I don't know what the exact conversation was, but it was essentially all right, I'll do it too. You want it? Never in my entire life did I have on my bingo board Sean McDermott and Josh Allen doing snow angels in Orchard Park.
Crazy. And then he was asked about it, and he said, who did he say? Oh, it was
Zach Davidson. Yeah.
Said, if we win this game, I want to
Coming
see
out
you
of the
do...
tunnel at halftime,
Yeah.
he was like, hey, coach, if we win this game, you got to do snow angels. And McDermott, I think we have to give credit to McDermott. This year, we have just seen a looser, more, I don't want to say relaxed, but it almost feels that way, where he shows his personality so much more than I think we've seen in the previous 8 years.
I think he loves this team.
I do too.
He always, enjoys coaching. Yeah. Last year was stressful. A lot of years are it's always stressful, right? What do we say? Win or it's panic. Mm-hmm. Well, there's been a lot of winning this year. But I think he loves the way this team, coaching staff, everybody is all rowing in the same direction. And people don't understand. I think sometimes you talk about culture and they dismiss it. They just think talent, talent, talent. Look in Jersey.
Yeah,
they got a lot of
seriously.
talent in that Jets locker room. And that team stinks. because no one wants to follow the coach or the quarterback. They fired the coach. They fired the GM. I'm not just comparing it to them, but that was the team that was supposed to beat this Bills team. They develop a culture here. Players buy in. They love it here. And Jenna, I saw a lot of years where people did not love being in Buffalo. The joke was, we're going to trade you to Buffalo as like a negative thing. And now you heard in there, Sean says, other players are like, this is pretty cool here.
Yeah.
And it's not just the fans and all that. It's in the locker room and the way the team is. Doesn't mean they're perfect. Doesn't guarantee they're going to win the Super Bowl. But damn it, they got their stuff together in this organization.
And Josh said after the game, like, winning the division early allows this team to play free. And I think that is such a benefit because you obviously want to go for the 1 seed.
Yeah.
We talked about how McDermott and Allen talked about that is another goal for this team. But I think it does just free you up to be a little bit more creative, be a little bit more intentional about what you do, and not have the fear of hanging over you of like, okay, we got to do this, we got to do that. And so I'm excited to see what that will look like. But the Snow Angels thing was one of those moments where I was just like, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
Like the Josh Allen, the ladder, like all that stuff. We were just like, this season is just so much fun, and it's still the same brand of football, I would say, but it just feels like this team is all, like you said, rowing in the same direction.
Yeah. I mean, there's some other things from the game. I thought Taylor Rapp had a great game. He made that play on McCaffrey. Feel badly for Christian McCaffrey. He's a great player. Looks like his season may be over. They think it's a knee. He went out. You can tell he was angry. He knew he was hurt, and he sat down. This Niners team is beaten up, but the Bills just pounded them into submission. They're beaten up, so that was happening. Matt Milano out there, and it was funny. I asked Sean about that, and he said, they were going to get him out on third downs, and they didn't have that many third downs. I mean, the Niners moved the ball a few times. It was just funny the way the game went. And Milano said, I'm going to sneak out there on some third downs anyhow. Seemed like he had a lot of snaps. I saw him on the field a lot.
Yeah.
He's got to get his timing together. It wasn't perfect. He made a few good plays.
Yeah, he had some flashes.
But I thought the safeties in general, I thought DeMar made a play. BS call on him to take away that interception, that illegal contact. And Greg Rousseau got after it. He chased Purdy down on that play to get a sack. That was in the first half. That was big. So they made enough plays, even with the bad footing. They made enough plays on defense to dominate the Niners.
Yeah, I thought it was, and sometimes you're nervous with the snow, especially pass rush. Like, can they get enough pressure because of the footing and all this stuff? But Greg Rousseau he's going to get paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be by the Bills, but he's going to get paid.
Oh, I think it's going to be by them. I mean, they got the 5th-year option coming. I think this is where in the offseason they get him taken care of.
Yeah, they got to pay a lot of guys. Christian Benford made some nice plays.
Benford. Got to get a touchdown on that. Come on. Take it all the way back. So.
Let's talk James Cook.
Yeah, that play he made, you're sitting there watching. They stopped the Niners on a 4th down. They get the ball back, and Josh was like, yeah, we'll take those drives all the time. One play, 65 yards. He was flying down the sidelines. I saw the number 21-point-some miles per hour that he was running in the snow. Like, this wasn't the Shady McCoy snow. I mean, there was snow. It wasn't like where you couldn't move. But it was not great footing, and he was flying.
I said it was like it was snowing Dippin' Dots. Like, that was the
I knew
texture.
You'd bring it back to some sort of
obviously,
food.
naturally.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was. Now it's a little bit lighter, but during the game. But he was. He didn't have any footing issues.
Yeah.
Ray Davis getting into the end zone.
Oh, that was great.
He literally ran into me after scoring the touchdown. I didn't get tackled or anything, but if you watch my video on Twitter, I got a good chuckle out of it because I stopped him.
That's it. So you do a story on him this week, and then he runs right to you.
Hey, when I did the interview, he scored too.
That's right. And Matt Collins, that was a great play.
Yeah.
Matt Collins just makes plays for this team. His outfit coming into the game.
Diabolical. that was crazy.
And then he goes out and scores a touchdown. So, I mean, it was impressive.
Yeah. No, it was an impressive night, an important night. They took care of business. Buffalo did. Up next, it'll be a trip to L.A.
Yeah, we're heading out to L.A. for the game. I think that's an interesting game. That L.A. team is good, not great, but if you don't play well, you can lose. So it's not like you just think, you see all the way the games are. And while they're fighting for the 1 seed, they got to stay ahead of Pittsburgh, too.
Yes.
Because Pittsburgh
Pittsburgh
won
won
again
today.
You're talking about
Yeah.
the 2 seed and all that goes with that. So there's plenty to play for,
Oh,
obviously,
yeah.
for them the rest of the way. But this is going to be an interesting couple of games on the road. L.A. and then Detroit. So
Detroit, it will be something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, is there anything else you want to add?
now I just leave this game feeling very good about this team where they are. I feel very good about Josh Allen and his prospects to win MVP. He's not going to talk about it, but we can talk about it. He is right there. I think it's Allen and Barkley now.
I agree.
I think Lamar, with another loss, it looks like
Well,
they're not going to
especially
win the division.
Head-to-head against Saquon,
Yeah,
and the
that-
Eagles, that
in
kind of
that game.
narrative.
But quarterback-wise, he's alone in the quarterbacks now, I would say. Lamar's there, Goff is there, because that team's had a great year. And I think that's great for the franchise. There's still games left to be played. And they're division champs with a lot still left to play for. And, yeah, it's looking pretty good.
A hat and T-shirt kind of night.
Yeah.
And hopefully there's plenty more of those.
Yeah, I want to shout out to somebody, a friend of ours, Joe Pinter.
Yes, Joe.
This is what we do. Like, comment, subscribe, and
Share.
So you can do that.
Yes.
When you're on a break from those Sabres games that you work on, Joe.
Yeah.
Share the Buffalo Plus channel.
Also, real quick, since you said shout out people, Victoria and Eric, we met at Wayland Brewing, as well as as well as Butch and Lorena.
Oh, yeah.
Met them as well. Very sweet, very kind. So we want to say thank you
And
to
I
them.
just wanted to let everybody know, just briefly, if you've stayed for this long, we may have another appearance coming up a little bit later. We will tell you some more
Yes.
details as it gets closer. We love seeing everybody, so
Yes.
we'll keep you up to date on that.
And credit to Dan for
Yes.
being, I believe, in the hospital still, right? They had their baby girl.
Yes.
She's doing well. He announced it on Twitter and social media, so we're not breaking the news to you. But
Yes.
He's tweeting, watching the game.
Yes, of course he is. Little Taylor. Little Fates. The Fates
Yes.
5 is what he
The
described.
Fates
it.
5, I thought that was very
Very
sweet.
cute. Very
yes.
nice.
So we have our
Yeah.
newest Buffalo Plus subscriber.
That's it.
We're very thrilled about that.
Way to go, Taylor. Thanks
But-
for joining.
Yeah, no, Dan, we're very excited
Yeah,
for you
thanks,
guys.
of
And,
course.
Anything else?
No, I think we're pretty good.
Bill's in a great spot. What time is it?
It is 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Not bad. Game
Yeah.
kind of went fast.
Yeah, it did.
The notebook is now disintegrating in
That's
the snow.
right.
All right. Big Bills win for the division. 30 points. They did it again. 8-0 off the bye. Josh Allen, Sean McDermott, Snow Angels.
Yeah.
It's just poetic,
It is.
honestly.
It is.
All right. For Mike Catalana, I am Jenna Cottrell. For Dan Fates, who's not here, we appreciate you watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'm talking to you, Joe Pinter, as well. Thank you so much. We'll catch you next time here on the Buffalo Plus channel. Also, we will be going to LA.
Yep.
We'll have plenty more coverage, our normal schedule this week as we get ready for the Rams this weekend. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time here on the Buffalo Plus channel, presented by Connors and Ferris.
This is the Buffalo Plus Podcast, brought to you by Connors and Ferris.